All right, today is a very beautiful day, and I hope you had a very great day. So, today we are going to be doing something very, very amazing. The previous tutorial, I talked about how to create a plantain chips and texture it in Blender. So, if you've not watched it, you can just go there and watch it. But today, I'm going to be explaining a lot more into that aspect. My name is Emmanuel Mamadou, and I'm a 3D artist into props, environment, lighting, and a little bit of geometric node. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share the video. Please feel free to share the video. So we have our plantain chips right here. I'm just going to be adding to my food collection. I have this model that I got, and it came with a very well textures. It's supposed to be a chicken labs, but the issue is that the textures are just weird. So today we're going to have to UV unwrap it and texture it better. So I have the model here. You can see the old name it came with. So I'm just going to drag it and put it into Blender. Just import it like that. So we have a model. It's really, really big, like seriously bigger than what we have. It's bigger than the actual chicken, the full chicken. So I'm just going to rotate this slightly like this. And yeah, I think, but first, let's look at the textures of this model. Looking at the textures, we can see some textures going on here. It's just basic textures. If I click this is the normal map it comes with. This is you know, it controls both the roughness and all that, and then the base color. It's just simple textures. There's no details, maybe a little. Nah, just a normal map, not really details. So today we are going to have to dive into it. Then also, if you also look into it, you see that we have a whole lot going on here. It's just in tracks and all of that. So we also need, for us to treat this, we also need to fix this aspect. And if we move down to the UV editor and I select all this, you see all the nonsense going on here. It's just a whole lot, a whole lot, a lot. So we can retexture this. For me, I think it's better to have a clean topology so that we can have a clean UV unwrap, and this will enable us to open it well and ensure that we have a very good and very, very, very good textures. I think I'm just going to create a new UV map so that we can see the before and after. If I use the smart UV, you know, it's it looks better than the previous one. However, it's still bad. Like, it's terrible. So one of the first thing I'm gonna do is, I think I'll just have to, yeah. So let's leave it like this for now. I'm going to duplicate this. I'll duplicate it and I'll just drag it to the second side. So this will be this will be the retopologized one. And we can do that retopology in Blender. So I'm just going to go to quadrants, under this remesh button. I'll move then to quadrants, and yeah, they said number of faces. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll come in here, enable statistics. So based on what I'm seeing on this model on its own is like 54,000 faces. Okay, that's because it is because it is in triangle, but we need it out to be in quads. So I'm thinking 30 should go. Yeah, 30 should be enough. So I'm going to use 30. I just hope it's not too little. So I'm going to use 30 and I'm going to click on the mesh. This is a whole lot. This is this is really, really a lot. This is not, I wasn't expecting this. So I think this is not good now. So I might have to redo this again. And so I'm thinking maybe if I can work on this, um maybe um make it easy for Blender. I can just click on read topology. I'll use the repair, the manifold, then the topology. And what else? I'll change this to rotation, and selecting it, I will apply the rotation and scale. I think all of these things would have a magnificence um improvements in this model. So under mesh, I'm going to go to no, not mesh. Select non-manifold. There's something it does here. I'm going to mesh by distance, and it has meshed a lot of stuff. So if I go back and do the same thing, nothing appears. I'm still going to go here, lose geometric, nothing. I would go to interior physics, nothing. So I'll just keep repeating it. Yeah. So okay. And I'll repeat it for the last one. So it means that I finally select everything and mesh by distance. And it's like that's fixed it, fixed everything that should give us any issue or problem. And then I can do the retopology again. However, I still want to use, because if it's like, okay, this is fine, right? Why can't I just use this? So selecting and trying to mark a lot of the places is going to give us issues. So the thing about UV mapping is that just like you're taking a rat, and then you want to spread the skin of the rat on a plain surface. So it's like, so for you to do that, you have to like mark where you want to cut. And that marking is very, very important, because the more you mark, the more you decide where to cut. Just like when you are sewing, before you sew, you have to decide um where, how you're going to cut the clothes. So, but using the rat is much better reference. So what I'm doing now is that I'm trying to create a mark, and if I have to use this like this, it will be much difficult to create a mark. And even if I eventually create the mark, it's like it's just too difficult to follow. So this is why I still want to use Blender to do a remesh of this stuff. So for now, I'm going to duplicate this again, just in case I need to go control. I need it again. This duplicates. I'm going to go down here and use it. Yes, 3000. So now you know why we have that issue, right? So now Blender give us something much better. Or just use the shade smooth to smooth everything out. It's not pretty bad. It's almost like the same thing we have here, maybe a little difference, but it's it's the same thing anyway. So now we have a much cleaner topology compared to what we have here. If I compare both sides, so I'm going to put both together. You can see what's happening here. You see all of these places which manually might need me to like dissolve them myself, and I don't want to do that. So but if you look at what Blender have done, we have a much cleaner topology, which actually it will be easy to mark this. However, we might have some little encounter, but it's not going to be bad. So it's still going to work out. So let's UV unwrap this. Now I'm going to clean this. I'm going to delete that. I mean, that's what I meant to say. And we have it. It took Blender 30 faces and it's giving us 31 faces. Blender, you have to give us the extra 1,000 faces. So it's time to UV unwrap them. So I'm gonna look for a place to select. Okay. Sometimes Blender just overdoes it. But so far, it's not bad. I'm going to um, mark the faces. I just want to be sure that it doesn't stop. Yeah, it stops somewhere here. And we want to clean that up. So I'm just going to select that part. I'm going to mark, select this part manually and also mark. So when you're marking, don't allow it to just stop. It has to, if it's going to stop, it's going to have to connect just the way it connects here, right? It has to connect there. So we have this as a face, and we have this other part of face is much wider. Sections. This also stopped somewhere. Just going to help it so that it can give. So yeah. So then we can mark the same. So that works pretty well. So now let's UV unwrap it. And in the aspect of UV unwrapping, we just select every part that we have here and hit on our UV angle, unwrap angles base. Just going to delete that. So we have it in here. We have our UVs here. So it's not bad. It's much more cleaner. All open, compare to the previous one. So it's, I feel this is much more cleaner. I also need to ensure that this gap, something like this, you might have to shift it a bit, because if you don't shift this, by the time you are trying to paint around this side, you have issues here trying to paint. That's one thing we need to keep in mind. So I'm going to move this slightly out of that point. Do the same for all the side. Just make sure that they're not resting on that line. It's very, very crucial and an important thing to keep in mind. You can move them around. So yeah, just have to make sure that they are not too close and they are not touching the edges, because if we don't do that, when you're painting, you're going to have issues with some blending, especially when you want to blend two sides that you painted. So it's very, very important. Blender can allow you paint on the edges of this cut, where yours the edges where you marked your seam, and still paint on the edges of the other mark parts. And Blender does that very well. Now that we have a much cleaner UV marked and a better topology, we can then move into the aspect of the texturing. So on this aspect, we are going to pause in the next video. We're going to be talking about texturing, and we're going to be diving in, as I explained, how to texture and how to use some of the properties on the Principle BFDF. Hit on the like button and also subscribe so you can see more of this content, and see you in the next video.